When it's time to put ink onto paper, learning how to properly set up Photoshop's print dialog can save you both time and money. Let's start in our Chapter 15 folder and select the file titled Print. When you're ready to print, you can go to the File menu and select Print. The shortcut is Command-P on the Mac, Control-P on the PC. That brings up our Photoshop print dialog. Lots of options here. Let's go through them. At the very top, the first thing we want to do is make sure that the correct printer is selected. Now, if you only have one printer, there won't be additional choices, but if you're like me and have multiple printers connected, you want to verify that you are choosing the correct one. We're going to print to this 3800. It's a photo printer. We can choose how many copies to print. I'm going to leave this set to 1. And just below New to CS5 is a Print Settings button right in this dialog. If we click it, we go to our Print Driver dialog box. Here it lists the printer that we're using, and we can choose the paper size. I'll show you the options that are available for this particular printer. We're going to just use US letter. Here where it says Layout, we're going to have a lot of printer-specific options. So your options may look vastly different depending on the printer that you have. So I'm not going to cover these. We'll leave these at their defaults and simply hit the Save button. That brings us back to the print window. And what can we do with our image? Well, the first thing we can do is orient it properly. Right now we've got a horizontal image set to print on a vertical sheet. No problem, we simply go and click this landscape orientation button, and now our image fits nicely on the page. We can center the image with this checkbox selected. It centers it. We can turn this off, and we can manually move this image around, tell it exactly how we want it to print on the sheet. If we know specifically how far we want that to print from the edge, we can simply enter it. In this box, I could set it to print 1 inch from the top. Hit the Tab key and set it to print 1 inch from the left side. For now, I'm going to simply center it. We can scale the print. If this image was too big to fit on our sheet, we could scale it down simply by checking this box. It would automatically scale it, or we could choose to manually scale it. Note that right now at 100%, our height is 6 inches and our width is 9. We can see our print resolution right here, 300 ppi. The ppi is for pixels per inch, and that is a great resolution to use for a high quality print. Up at the top right, I want you to notice our color management pull down menu. This is crucial when you're printing photographs. You want to make sure that this document radio button is checked, and you also want to verify that next to profile you see a profile name, in this case ProPhoto RGB. You just don't want to see it say untagged, so it can say sRGB, Adobe 1998, any of those are going to be fine. Here's an important option, color handling. We have two choices, Printer manages colors or Photoshop manages colors. Now if you're printing to a laser printer or one of those all-in-one printer fax scan machines, you're probably best off choosing Printer manages color. I've selected in this case a photo printer that has things called printer profiles for excellent and accurate output, so I'm going to select Photoshop manages colors. With that selected, we can choose a printer profile. A printer profile is specific to your printer and your paper that you're using, and it will let Photoshop adjust the colors automatically so that what you get on the print looks very similar to what you see on screen. With a printer profile, you need to choose a rendering intent. For photographic images, your two choices are going to be perceptual or relative colorimetric. You don't have to worry about the other two. We're going to leave this set at relative. That's a fairly safe choice in most situations. We have a black point compensation box. I'll save you the gory details about its function, but you can never go wrong by having this checked, so we'll leave it set exactly the way it is. Another thing I want to show you relates to the preview you have of this image in the dialog box. Because we have chosen a specific printer profile, we can choose to match the print colors. So we can adjust this image so that on screen we get a bit of a preview of how it's going to look on that paper. We can choose Show Paper White. Now this is going to be a drastic change, and you can see a much cooler paper border because the paper that I have chosen, signified by the printer profile, is a very cool or cold paper. It looks almost blue by comparison to neutral white. We have a gamut warning box if you want to see the colors that are going to have to be adjusted to fit within the gamut of your printer paper combination, you can simply turn this on, and you'll see parts of the image show up in gray. It doesn't mean they're going to print gray. It simply means those colors need to be shifted a bit to fit within the gamut that your paper printer combination has. The last thing I can show you is in the output menu. Here we can choose to set printing marks. We can print registration. We can set corner crop marks, center crop marks. If we have descriptions or labels, we can put those. We could send the image to print as a negative image if we're laying down plates, for example. Down below this, though, are some useful functions. We can choose to print a background. If you really want to blow through some ink, well, you can simply choose a background color for your image. You simply click in the color picker, hit OK, and now we have a background that will be added. We could choose to print with a border. I'm going to set this to inches, but you could choose one of the other units of measure if you prefer. And there we have a border around the image. We can also choose a bleed if you're going to have your image professionally trimmed. They will greatly appreciate having extra image area to cut into. And after all this hard work, it is finally time to hit the print button.